Sadhana means, so if you know, what does sadhana mean? Anyone? No? Anyone wants to speak on what does sadhana mean? Vasanta?
You're pushing the limits of your body, mind, and energy to reach a particular state.
Correct. So it's practice, and she's talking about practicing with devotion, with working hard towards it, putting in energy and effort and intensity into it. So sadhana comes from the word sadhan. Sadhan means tool, and sadhana means methods and tools of practice. So very nice thing that Sadhguru had explained. He said, suppose there is a nail which is screwed into wood. I can use my finger to pull it out. I can use my teeth to pull it out. I can do all kinds of things to pull it out. But someone gives me a screwdriver. Okay, a screwdriver where sorry, not the nail, but the screw is in the wood. Someone gives me a screwdriver. I can very easily, smoothly open it without hurting myself and doing the job beautifully and skillfully. So there are tools, there are methods to for coming into that state of samadhi. Let's look at that. So the first sutra of this is Tapaswadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So this is Patanjali is saying Kriya Yoga is a practice, is a tool that you can take up, and it has 3 legs. It has the legs of Tapas, Swadhyaya and Ishwar Pranidhana. What does tapah mean? What does tap mean? Tap means heat, right? It is heat, it is temperature. Now if something has to cook, then you need heat. If I'm going to put something to cook and if the heat is low, nothing is going to happen. If the heat is very high, it's going to burn. So the right level of heat. So my practice should be something that should be at an intensity that does not burn me, but at the same time, it is not so erratic and not so comfortable that nothing happens. It's like sometimes in meditation, people will make themselves so comfortable, they will sit on a couch or whatever, they go off to sleep. So, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says, when you're meditating, you should be comfortable, but not so comfortable that you fall off to sleep. You still maintain alertness. Okay, so the right temperature, the right intensity is tapa. Tapa is all about drive. It is the fire of discipline. You need that fire of discipline for yoga to rise. So, clear? That is what tapas means. Okay, Swadhyaya. What does Swadhyaya mean? Swadhyaya has 2 meanings. One is the study of wisdom texts. So what we are doing right now, the fact that we are here together, we're exploring Yoga Sutras, a 2,000-year-old text. Yoga Sutras is considered a Shastra. A Shastra is a text which cannot be refuted because it is based on thousands of years of observation and culling of that observation into very pithy aphorisms which we call sutras. They are complete, they are self-contained, they are very tight. So it's a very authoritative text, therefore. So one can have a differing view, but you cannot refute a Shastra. You cannot refute the truth of the Shastra. It is and it exists. It has been tested and tried. That is what Shastra means. So James was talking on this and he said today we are speaking of peer-reviewed, empirically studied kind of texts, but this is nothing compared to the Shastras that we have from the Indian philosophical tradition. So Swadhyaya is this. Swadhyaya is also self-reflection. What is the practice doing to me? How is it shifting my awareness? Is it taking me closer to states of yoga? Is my awareness rising? Am I calmer? What is it doing to me? So constantly evaluating. Or in this moment, how should I be sitting? I am an asana practitioner. Am I watching my posture all the time? I should be able to. That asana practice should flow into my life. This is Swadhyaya. Ishwar Pranidhana is that same aspect of keeping your practice reverential. This is very, very important. Now, I have used this image of Hanuman because for me, he's the greatest yogi. He is the embodiment of the greatest yogi. he embodies all these three principles. So before I speak of Hanuman, one more thing I wanted to speak on, Kriya Yoga. Now, I don't know how deep and far I should go. I don't want to confuse you on this. So, Kriya Yoga has been translated by teachers and scholars as the yoga of action. Okay? The method of Ashtanga Yoga gives us a path towards Kriya Yoga. Asana, pranayama, all of those things form a part of Kriya Yoga. Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhanani, Kriya Yoga. Let's take an affirmation to that. Hands on your knees, palms facing up. I will remember the most important guideline to practice, keeping it steady and constantly watching what the practice does to me. Did my asana or pranayama or meditative practice create emotional and psychological shifts in me? Am I a more pleasant person? Am I more tolerant of differing ideologies? Do I find myself in more supportive circumstances than before? If yes, I will use this as an inspiration to keep moving on the path in a disciplined way. If no, I will examine my practice and make changes to see if it is really working for me. Slowly open your eyes. Okay. Are we good? So far, so good? Everything making sense? Yeah? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've got 15 minutes more. I will introduce Ashtanga Yoga to you, and then we will continue with this in the next session. The next session, we'll close this. So now Patanjali. So now we are in chapter 2. I am looking at the first sutra because that's a very important sutra to understand. And then we are looking at the method of yoga, which is Ashtanga Yoga. The other sutras, so I'll go into Ashtanga Yoga in detail. This must be understood by anybody who is practicing yoga. The other sutras in chapter 2 deal with klesha and karma, causes of suffering and their consequences. I'm not going into that. Not right now. Maybe at some other point, if you're interested, we can take it up. So, Ashtanga Yoga. So, Patanjali has given us a method of yoga, which he calls